Om Shanti. Yesterday also Baba talked about Tyag and Tapasya. And today in the blessing, Baba is again underlining Tyag and Tapasya. So we will take that first today. Baba today says, just as the task of godly sustenance is now taking place, in the same way, in the last moments, the task of burning away your sins and the tamoguni sanskars and tamoguni quality of the elements has to take place with your tapasya. For this, constantly be stable on the seat of a constant and stable stage and reveal your tapasvi form. Let your renunciation of body consciousness and the tapasya of being soul conscious be visible in every physical organs of yours in a practical way. Now, what does this mean? So, Baba says that right now we are receiving Baba's sustenance. Yes, and it feels very nice to receive, doesn't it? We are receiving Baba's knowledge, love, support, guidance. Baba is waking up lovingly Baba is waking us up lovingly from our sleep and giving us such powerful and energizing dose of knowledge every day. And when we remember Baba, we receive support and guidance and strength. And a Brahmin life is very beautiful. But we must understand that whenever we receive something, then the flip side of that is to give. So Baba says, now you are receiving sustenance, and then there'll be a time when you will have to carry out the task of purifying all tamoguni sanskars and the tamoguni vibrations of the world. So all the 5 elements are impure and every soul is impure, and their purification will have to take place through the power of our tapasya. And Baba says, now that we are taking so much sustenance from Baba, we have to build our tapasvi stage. Now when you think of a tapasvi, so a tapasvi, the image of a tapasvi is somebody who is sitting bilkul still and firm in one posture, physical posture. But Baba says here it's not about a physical posture, it's about having a posture where I'm continuously stable in my soul conscious stage and connected with Baba. And this whole, that stage will be built through practice. So just like a tapasvi in the world also does a lot of practice. So they sit for long hours, days together, months together. And then they become that tapasvi which you see in the picture. Baba says you also have to build this stage of being a tyagi and a tapasvi. So we have to practice to let go of our body consciousness and emerge our soul conscious stage every day. So every second of our day has to be used to practice this, practicing letting go of body consciousness and emerging and stabilizing ourselves in soul consciousness. And Baba uses a very interesting expression. He says, every organ of the body, every physical organ has to be tapasvi, soul conscious. So we have to practice so much that our mind, our buddhi, our sanskars, eyes, ears, mouth, everything is cleaned of body consciousness. And every physical organ and subtle organ becomes completely soul conscious. And this requires a lot of practice because we have 63 births of body consciousness within us. And until and unless we practice a lot, that's not going to happen. So the cleaning, the purging of every organ, cleaning it of body consciousness and becoming soul conscious is not happening without practice. So Baba says, don't think that this part, this scene in the drama where we are receiving the sustenance is going to go on forever. So now we are receiving sustenance. The sun is giving us everything. Sun is Baba, Gyan Surya, Pavitrita ka Surya. Baba is the ocean, Baba is the sun, and Baba is showering everything on us. And it feels very nice to sit beside the ocean and sit under the sun and take, consume. It feels very nice. But Baba says, your part doesn't end here. You have to also fill yourself and clean yourself and purge yourself and fill yourself with so much power of tapasya and so much cleanliness of soul, cleanliness of body consciousness, and filling yourself with the power of soul consciousness so that Baba can work through us. And in the end, Baba will need many instruments through whom he will carry out the final act of purifying the whole world, which include the 5 elements of nature. And Baba will need to use every organ of every child. So every child will have to give their man, buddhi and all the physical organs so that Baba can carry out the act of purging or purifying the elements and every soul of the world through children. And Baba says, until and unless you make an effort to purify every organ of yours by taking sustenance from Baba right now, how will I carry out my task through you? So it's very, very important that we understand this and we do the tapasya and the tyag. So the tyag is renouncing body consciousness and tapasya is concentrating enough so that we become soul conscious. So Baba says, do that work. And then you also have to think about how every organ in our body and the spiritual organs of man, buddhi and sanskars are functioning when we are body conscious and how they would change or shift when we are soul conscious. So just think about it. So, these are the very eyes, but when we are body conscious, what do our eyes see? And when we are soul conscious, what would they see? And how would our mind think? And how would our buddhi, pay attention? What will be the way in which we pay attention in a soul conscious way. And what will be our soul conscious sanskars that would be active? And how would we hear and speak in soul consciousness? So we have to think about these things so that we take Baba's light and might to shift from a bhogi to a yogi and a tapasvi. So this is something that we need to think about today. So I think this exercise you do, and if possible, write your comments also so that we can also see what is your churning on how soul conscious organs would behave differently from body conscious organs. And then today Baba talks a lot about service. So I want to take that up. And Baba today says, look, all the children are calling Baba. So from 2500 years in bhakti, every single soul on the planet, they call out to Baba very lovingly. Yes? And everybody has love for God in their heart. And Baba says, look, all the children are calling Baba. Why? Why does everybody speak about God and call out to God with love? So Baba says, that Father is also seated in the children's hearts. Baba had done service and made you children into beautiful flowers. So Baba says that memory that the children are carrying in their heart, that Baba had done this service which changed them from thorns to flowers. Beautiful flowers is there in the heart of every child. And that is why in bhakti, they remember Baba so lovingly. And Baba says, it is your duty to do service too. And Baba says, you are also remembered as deities. And people very fondly remember you also as their beloved deity. And Baba says, you also must do the service just like Baba is doing, so that you also bring warmth and love and peace and happiness to the hearts of children, so that they remember you fondly in bhakti. And today Baba tells us something, so today's Murli is all about being a detached observer and checking yourself. So first I will begin with an example which sets the tone of what Baba is saying today. So there's this brother who once came and he was a drug addict, and you know what he would say? He would say, oh, I like taking the drugs, so I take it. It's not like I'm an addict. I can leave it today if I want, but I don't want to leave it. And then I told him, I challenge you, you leave it for 5 days, 10 days, and then just show me that you are capable of leaving it. But he would say, no, I don't want to. You don't know, I have this. I know that I'm free and I'm free to choose that which I want. And you cannot force me into doing otherwise. And I just don't choose to do it. And it required a lot of, talking to him and communicating with him to bring him to recognize that it's not like he doesn't choose to do it, it's like he can't do it. And Baba today talks about Maya. And Baba says, Maya slaps us. And Maya, if we don't take care of Maya, Maya will drag us and make us a corpse, turn us into a corpse. And all because, and I tell you from my own experience that the way Maya works is, Maya tries to tell you that all that you are not doing according to Srimad is your choice. But we don't understand that any soul wouldn't choose to do something that's not good for them. But we are doing it under the sway of Maya. And somehow we are so programmed into thinking that I'm making this choice that we don't try to change it. And Maya slaps us in this way. And Baba tells us in the Murli today that Baba tells us to, so the Srimad, the dictates of Baba or the directions of Baba are to be soul conscious, to stay in constant remembrance of Baba, to be pure. So, observing celibacy, purifying the food, not watching and hearing stuff that's based on vices or the dictates of human beings, and then doing seva with the body, mind, and wealth. And Baba today says, just become a detached observer and ask yourself whether you are doing all these four. And when we check ourselves, we realize that most of the times we are not. So whether it is soul consciousness, whether it is remembrance of Baba, whether it is purity in thought, word, and action, or whether it is spiritual seva, most children listen to Murli, but they don't practice these four subjects. And Baba says, sometimes Maya will make us believe deceptively that we are very good children of Baba. But the practical indicators are whether we imbibe divine virtues or not. And the first divine virtue is purity, and whether we do seva or not. And every day Baba talks about remembrance also. So whether we remember Baba or not. And if we don't check objectively, if we don't, sometimes when you check subjectively, when you check in body consciousness, you give yourself an excuse and you say, oh, I'm doing it to the best of my knowledge and ability. But no, if you check objectively, like if somebody else would check, would they feel that yes, you remember Baba, or you really stay pure and you do seva? So Baba says, check very objectively whether you are doing all of this, because Maya is deceiving you into not doing anything and believing that you are a very good BK and very good child of Baba. So Baba says, that's a mistake. And Maya is constantly deceiving us into making mistakes, into not following Srimad and believing that that's our choice. But it is through remembrance, through purity, and through seva that a fortune will be created. And if that's not being done, then Maya is slapping us and we are not even able to detect what Maya is doing. And then Baba today says that there are so many karmic accounts because of which we are not able to do seva. So even, physical limitations like ill health or maybe mental health issues, they are all also limitations from our past births and because of them also sometimes we will not be able to follow Srimad and do seva. And Baba says you must make an effort to absolve those sins, to settle those accounts, and do some seva. So don't think that because, so if somebody has a back pain or somebody has some issues with the body, okay, you can't do physical seva. Do something with the mind, do something with the wealth, so that some punya karma is created, so that you can settle your accounts with that, and tomorrow your body will also help you in seva. So Baba says, very objectively check what are you doing, because just like the addict I was talking about, who is into addiction and everything which belongs to him is being robbed away by that addiction, but he believes that that's a choice he's making, and that's what Maya does. Maya makes you believe that you're choosing impurity, that you're choosing not to remember Baba, that you're choosing not to do seva. But it's not your choice, it's your influence. You are under the influence of Maya. So Baba says, be a detached observer and look at what you're doing and think about and ask yourself, why are you not following Srimad, and do as Baba says? Because otherwise Maya will drag you and turn you into a corpse and you will not even know. So today Baba, I will read those lines for you. Baba says, illness is the suffering of karma, and it also doesn't allow you to do service. Only at the end will you become free from making mistakes. However, you must remain constantly intoxicated that the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul is teaching you in order to make you into gods and goddesses. If you fail now, this will become your part every cycle. Baba sees you as the detached observer, and you also have to check yourself to see what service you do. Sometimes Maya slaps you children. When you don't follow Srimad, Maya beats you and makes you into a corpse. You are then unable to do any service. Otherwise, you can see how mothers are doing so much service. And then Baba says, there is another thing that we have to be wary about, which is how we do service. So one thing is, just like a corpse cannot move, so somebody whom Maya has made a corpse doesn't do any seva. So that's one thing. Then another thing is, sometimes you do seva, but then you get very body conscious about it. So that's also Maya. So Maya doesn't give up. So that's the beautiful thing about Maya. So every time you think you've beaten Maya, Maya just takes one step ahead and goes ahead of you. So sometimes you think that, okay, Maya did not deceive me into not doing seva. So Maya will, so I will tell you one incident. It's an incident from very early on. So there was this one day when there was a program in the center, and I was very tired because there was office and there was other stuff until Saturday, and then Sunday was the program. And the program was to begin at 12 in the afternoon. And at 10 o'clock, I felt very, very sleepy. And I felt like just taking a little nap and then doing the seva which was left. So I felt like, okay, there are some things to be done, so let me take a quick nap. And then, when I slept, so I went to sleep. And then within 5 minutes, I think I was into my sleep, I had a dream where I saw Baba coming and waking me up and saying that, look how Maya tricked you. into sleeping when you had to do some seva. And then I woke up from that dream. And then I saw it was 10 or 15 something. And then I started doing whatever needed to be done. And then by 12, things were ready. And I realized that if I had slept another 15 minutes, I would have missed the, whole point. And when people started coming in for seva, they wouldn't have everything ready. So by 12, I was able to keep the hall ready and everything in place. And then, in the evening, when it was time to sleep, I was so full of the pride that Maya couldn't trick me that I was not getting sleep. So, Maya tricks you some way or the other. Otherwise, sometimes it will trick you into not doing seva, and then sometimes it will trick you into the ego of doing seva. And in both the times, you will be wasting your thought and time and energy. And so Baba says you have to be wary about Maya. So you have to really be very detached and look at what you're doing, because Maya consumes your man and buddhi in such a way that you can't even see what it's doing to you. And these are the lessons we learned very early, and I keep revising these lessons because, when you get swept away on the way, you don't realize sometimes. So Baba says, another thing that you have to check is Maya doesn't inflate your ego and you don't become body conscious. And Baba uses one expression in the Murli sometimes, that the mouse found a small piece of turmeric and he thought, I am the merchant. So चूहे को हल्दी की गांठ मिली और अपने आप को पंसारी समझ बैठा. So when the mouse found a little piece of turmeric, he thought that I am the merchant here, because he felt he has too much turmeric with him. He's a turmeric merchant or something. And Baba says, you see that there are Baba's children doing so much seva, and this whole yagya is such a big Agni Kund where so many souls have just, given up and surrendered and put in all their mind, body, and wealth. And it is because of that this whole yagya is surviving. And sometimes we do a little seva and then Maya will trick us into believing that it's because of me that everything is going, and I gave gyan to this one, or I gave some contribution and then I should be treated specially, and this and that. And then Baba says, then Maya will just, create an illusion in your mind which will stop you from doing any further seva. So Baba says you have to be wary about both these phases of Maya. One is Maya will make you think that impurity and not doing seva is your choice, jabki it is tricking you into believing so, and then making you into a corpse, no good for nothing, and a dead body is good for nothing, right? So a dead Brahmin, a Brahmin who doesn't get inspired for purity and seva, is good for nothing. So Baba says Maya will turn you into a corpse, or Maya will trick you into getting egoistic about whatever you have done, and then you will feel very high and mighty about whatever little you did, and then that will stop you from doing more. So you have to be very, very, very wary about Maya and see in a detached manner what you do. And it's a very good practice to look at your day in a detached manner. And there is something about ego that's very celebrated, and people say that ego is like your blind spot. So you you have this place behind your head, which is your blind spot. Everybody in the world can see it, but you cannot see it. It's your head, it's part of your body. You carry it around all day, but everybody can see it, you cannot see it. And sometimes it so happens that we are so body conscious that everybody can see that this person doesn't practice purity and doesn't do any seva. But we are not able to see it because of body consciousness. So it's sometimes very good to see yourself as a very detached observer and really see the truth of who you are and what you're doing. And that happens when you sit in soul consciousness, sit in connection with Baba, and ask yourself truly and really, what Srimat am I following? So this is something that Baba asks us to do. And the second thing that Baba today talks about is an unlimited intellect. So, unlimited intellect is a very big thing. So, when you study, you are able to broaden the intellect. So the intellect sees, and what all can you see depends on how broad your intellect is. Yes, so sometimes, when you're moving a stick and the stick is long, you see where you're moving forward and you don't see where the stick is hitting at the back. And then you topple over some things while you're moving that stick. So when you're unidirectional and you cannot see the bigger picture, you try to do something, and in that attempt you mess up something else. Yes, so sometimes, people who don't have broad intellects, they try to do something, make something right, and in that attempt they mess up something else. So if you don't have a broad intellect, you will use your time for something and take away that time from something else. And when we studied welfare economics, it was all about increasing the welfare of one without compromising the welfare of the other. So it's always about that. So, increasing the sum total without, it's not taking from somewhere, adding to somewhere else. And that happens when you can see the broad picture. And today Baba is talking about unlimited intellect, not only broad in the sense of, bringing advantage to one group while putting another group in disadvantage. But Baba is talking about doing an act where you can take into consideration all the three aspects of time. So Baba has made us Trikaldarshi, and we can see the whole truth. So we know the Baba has given us the knowledge of the Kalpa Vriksh, and we know how different religions come at different times, and how every soul is not what they appear to be right now. They have a different journey. So someone who is in an old body could be a new soul. Somebody who's in a new body could be an old soul. And we know all of that stuff now. So we can see the spiritual truth now. And according to the spiritual truth, you are a someone. And the one you're dealing with is also a someone. And they are very different from their present context. And Baba says that when you are operating with souls, you obviously inspire them for the best. So you give them the knowledge that Baba gives, the love that Baba gives, the sustenance that Baba gives. You give everything to everyone, but you should also know that they are a soul and they will take as much as they are destined to take. Because again, the soul has a predestined part fixed in them. Yes, and Baba says that this drama is a variety drama, and not everybody is a golden aged soul. And when you operate with souls, when you operate with matter, you must know that everything has their own destiny and part. And while giving in your best, you should accept who they are also. And not, so you should try hard, but don't push it too hard. So there's a point until where you try, and then you just observe detachedly who they are. So let's say you are every day giving spiritual support and love and sustenance to somebody, but that doesn't mean they will become a surrendered BK. So they will do only as much as they can, as much as their part allows. And then you also have to accept that. Yes, and you must accept that everybody will take according to their destined part. And so, when you are limited in your consciousness, you only think about karma. And then you do karma, which you do karma, and then you become desperate because of your karma, because you don't understand drama. And then when you have an unlimited intellect, you understand Baba, you understand drama, and you understand karma, and you find the balance between all of these. So you do karma, but you know there is a drama also. And then you try hard, but when it goes to pushing too hard, you stop, because you know that you can only do as much as the drama allows you. So this is something that Baba talks about, and Baba also talks about in the Murli today about Baba talks. So Baba says this thing about how some souls only want peace. So so there are some people who will say, why doesn't everybody go to the golden age? Yes, so Baba says, A, there is no place in the golden age for everybody, because the golden age is a small world. And secondly, not everybody wants to go to the golden age. Yes, so you ask people, do they want to go to a world of happiness or only to a world of peace? They say world of peace. So some people say we want to go to our soul world and just be there. So even if you convince them a lot that it's better if you go to Satyug and you do the work it needs to go to Satyug, they are not convinced, and they keep saying, no, I want mukti only, I don't want to go to Satyug. So Baba says it is a predestined drama, and there are some souls who will always want to go to soul world, not to golden age. And there are some souls who will want to go to the golden age, and they will do the work that it takes to go to the golden age, and they go there. So there is nothing fair or unfair about it. Everybody is getting what they want, and that's fair enough. Yes, so it's not fair that everybody gets the best. It's fair that everybody gets what they want. And if somebody doesn't want to go to the golden age, how can you send them? And how do you want? So, wanting includes the willingness and the ability to pay also. So if I say I want to go to golden age, but I don't want to be pure or do any seva or remember Baba, then that also doesn't mean anything. So there are only some souls who practically want to go to the golden age, and they do the needful, and then they go there. And there are others who don't do the work, so they don't go there. So it's only fair that people get as they do and get as they want. And that's fair enough. So Baba says that drama is very fair and it is predestined, and everybody is getting the right thing. Okay. Om Shanti.